Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Tech Today. I'm your host Ayush Alavadi. Now on the show, we strive to bring you technology across the gamut, right from the most affordable phone and tech out there to the biggest big boy toys out there in the market. Now, when we're talking about flagships, yes, we have foldables and we love covering them on the show. Galaxy Unpacked coming very soon. And then you have flagship variables and all that kind of stuff as well. But then sometimes, even in the automotive world, we look at flagships. That's when you bring in the Range Rover SV. The Special Vehicle Operations wing of the Range Rover team has come up with this absolute beauty, luxury tech at its finest. You're talking about signature, flagship, and then one level above that as well. That's what the SV is all about. Let me tell you what makes it so special or so signature in this special segment on Tech Today. Now, when a company like Range Rover says that they're making a special edition, the first thing you want to know is all about the price. So usually we give you the spoiler right at the end. Now, spoiler alert, the price, it starts at nearly 4.1 crores. So that's ex-showroom on road. It's closer towards 5 crores. Now, that's the price of a 1 BHK in Mumbai and so much more in the rest of the country. So yes, this is not a car for everyone, but it is an SUV where luxury meets performance, and the sort of engineering marvel and the technology that is used in this vehicle is something that the whole world can stand up and look up to and perhaps pick up a few tricks to see some of these features in SUVs, EVs, and cars that we have on the show and across the world in the years to come. Yes, there are very special materials used in the Range Rover SV, of course, because it's signature, but the real tech is in the wheels of the car. Active noise cancellation means that no matter what the sounds are outside, the microphones are picking up the ambient sounds and then making sure that the cabin is insulated. I'm guessing there's a little bit of transparency because if there's some glaring emergency sound or a horn or an ambulance, you can hear those, of course. But otherwise, the surround sound that you don't want to hear, well, that's all cut out with active noise cancellation. And that's a big deal in the Range Rover SV, but I'd like to see that across other cars as well. Now, as tech enthusiasts and tech geeks on the show, the first thing that your eyes fall on is the panel and the kind of user experience, user interface. What kind of software are they using? I think with the Range Rover and the Jaguar lineup, across the entire lineup around the world, wherever we've driven their vehicles, their EVs, they have a very consistent Apple-esque sort of approach. In fact, sometimes I think they do things even better than a lot of smartphone manufacturers with their layout. It's consistent, it's classy, the color scheme seems to work. Apple CarPlay works seamlessly. In a matter of seconds, wireless Android Auto and CarPlay are sorted. And most importantly, if you want to access some of the features to do with the engineering or some of these safety things, dynamic stability control, auto brake hold, ride height. Now this, with off-road, you can obviously lift the car a little bit. So if I'm, coming across a set of potholes, just quickly hit off-road. And while the car is driving on this main road, on the highway, you've already gone up by, well, quite a decent amount. You can also go to normal mode and it gets the job done as well, because this is a very big car. Now, first things first, when you're sitting in this big boss seat, yes, there's enough leg room, but most likely, unless you have a bodyguard or some security guard sitting in the front, if it's just you being driven around maybe with your significant other, because in the SV, it's a clear four-seater. Because of this first change that I'm going to tell you about, things are a little different. So let me tell you, the first thing that I do as soon as I sit in the rear seat is I set it up to recline. And just like that, there's even more room for maybe someone who's 7 feet tall. Way too much room for me. There you go. Footrest out, and you're all set perhaps to be chauffeured around. But then this is the SV. It's no ordinary car. So I'll tell you why it is so different. If you actually come in over here and you see this white ceramic, no, this is not just a place to keep your phone or something like that. What it is, and the minute I flick this button, watch, as some SV magic happens, out of thin air, a proper table which you can use. And again, this is not just for my phone. So what am I going to be using this for? Well, there's one more use case which is specific to this particular vehicle, and that happens to be something right behind me over here. I hit open and there you go. The fridge has opened up. You've got 2 chill glasses for whatever you want. Place them right here. Have a nice meal as well in the rear seat of the SV, and we're all set to take you for a little drive. Well, you've seen all sorts of cars here on Tech Today with all their technology displayed in all its splendor. And yes, with most of them, especially cars like the Thar or the EQS, I like to be in the driver's seat. I felt it once with the BMW i7, where of course there was so much happening, and that foldable screen that we showed you, which is unparalleled in any EV, and now the Range Rover SV. Yes, you felt it in the autobiography, but this just takes things up a notch with a fridge over here, a table, and maybe a million ways in which you can customize this car. Look, you're spending a lot of money. Like I said, a 1 BHK somewhere in Mumbai is the cost of this car. But then with that, you get so many features on offer. Even if this was, well, a chauffeur service, this is the car, and this is the seat I'd want to be sat in. Maybe not the front seat, definitely not the passenger seats here or here. You can put other people out here. The secret to a road trip in the Range Rover SV is you call dibs, shotgun this seat, and enjoy the ride. I'll tell you something, in terms of the design and the engineering, the Range Rover teams have done some really cool stuff. If you think of how they've managed to hold on to that heritage a few decades old and still make it look modern, make it look mean, muscular, and also luxurious enough for your favorite celebrities and heads of state to be in this particular vehicle. But then one thing that us common folk who get to drive the car would love doing is, in this sort of weather in Mumbai, if you can have the tailgate pop up for you like this. Well, like I said, if you're not 6 feet tall and you're struggling to access the rear of the car or even the front or this lovely tailgate that I'm going to show you, then all you have to do is press this button. And just like that, the car, which was almost this high, has come down to an access height that makes it much easier for me to use this particular vehicle. Well, there you go. My lovely picnic spot all set up. This is actually utilitarian. It can take a couple of 100 kilos, and clearly I'm not that heavy. Have a nice seat right here at the back. Some nice SV cushioning. Can take a nice little backrest. Beverage of choice, and enjoy the sights and sounds wherever you are. This, of course, is a beverage that came from the fridge in the rear seat. But let's give you a little bit of a verdict in a nutshell. The car drives really well. It is luxury tech at its finest, and there's a whole set of features that some might seem excessive, but if you're spending that kind of top dollar on a vehicle, then you sort of expect some of these features. What I like about the Range Rover line is, and it's a DNA that can perhaps be, well, spread out across the JLR lineup and then maybe across the Tata Motors lineup as well, is that while you are really modernizing with all sorts of enhanced tech, crazy features and great engineering, you're also managing to hold on to the heritage with some classic design elements. Of course, you're wearing that badge of honor, and it's also a very capable off-roader with wade sensing. And in a Mumbai monsoon, yes, it's massive to navigate, but once you do get used to it, it is an absolute joy to drive. It's a joy to drive, it's a joy to be driven in. We've had all sorts of high-end cars, luxury sedans, the i7s, the EQSs on the show. First look always on Tech Today, here on India Today. But I personally am an SUV buff, and while we do enjoy all the off-roaders and the luxury that comes with some of the vehicles we've had on the show, the Range Rover SV is truly the pinnacle of luxury, of high-end tech, and that sense of classic adventure as well. And you can enjoy your beverage of choice right here in the Range Rover SV. I'm going to see you in the other half of the show, but let me know what you think of the Range Rover SV and our attempt to bring it to you here on Tech Today.